welcome to today's show. I'm excited to jump into today's conversation and really dive into the show. If you haven't listened to the show before, if you're a first-time listener, we welcome you. My name's Trevor, and that's Shane, and we are your hosts of the Legal Edge Coaching Podcast. Real quick, do us a huge favor. It really helps us a ton. Give us a like and a subscribe if you have not done that yet. I know some of you guys listen and you haven't done that yet. Shame on you. Give it, hook it up. We do this podcast for free, and this is what we ask in return, is that you just help us grow the show and help us grow the audience. So that being said, Shane, how the hell are you, man?
Doing well today, right? It's we're recording this on a Thursday, which is supposed to not be a busy day, but it's usually a busy day for me. Since it wasn't busy like 6 months ago when I had some new stuff come up, what did I do? I slotted it on Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning. So
why not?
My Thursday went from being really open and not busy to now it's pretty busy in the morning. So, but that's okay. I'm in Charlotte today recording some videos and stuff for for all of our social stuff. And, we'll be flying back to Atlanta this afternoon.
Well, for all the listeners who don't know, you're in Charlotte because you have an office there and back in Atlanta, or not
correct.
Technically Atlanta.
Yeah, it's south of Atlanta in Peachtree City, but we call it Atlanta because nobody knows where Peachtree City is. So
I didn't know what it was before I met you, and now I do. But yeah, we'll keep it Atlanta. But yeah, so you're back and forth with your law firm. So and you're in Charlotte. What's your favorite place to be? Like where do you prefer to work? Do you have one, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter a whole bunch. I mean, right now it's Peachtree City because that's where my wife is, right? So.
Dude, good answer. Good answer.
Well, it is, So, I don't love to be apart from my wife for a long period of time, right? So, sort of my limit is like 3 days and two nights is sort of my benchmark. Anything beyond that, and I really got to want to spend time with you, right? So, it's got to be one heck of a conference or a mentor, something like that I'm going to be like, okay. So, I've lived in both cities. There are bonuses to both. I liked Charlotte when I was living up here, but my commute was a little longer. But Charlotte was also easier to get to things to do versus Atlanta, where Atlanta everything's an hour 15 minutes to get to. Charlotte was like 30, so that was definitely a plus. I've got a lot more family in Atlanta, so that's a definite plus, and I like that. But Charlotte's a cool little town. I guess it's not little anymore. It continues to get bigger and bigger. But so both places are good. I like both. I like a big, huge desk, right? So my home office is at home in Atlanta. It's got all my stuff. The problem is I don't have all my stuff up here in Charlotte, right? I've built my life that I enjoy it all. So like when I come to Charlotte, I'm staying at usually a hotel or an Airbnb. So there's no gym in the basement. Yeah, it doesn't. But I always think I'm going to have plenty of time to work, and then I get up here and I go to work, and then I go work out at night, and then I eat, and I look up and it's like 9 o'clock. So I feel like when I'm in Charlotte, in my mind, I should have a ton of time to work and do this stuff, and I never do. So I always get a little frustrated when I'm up here.
Got it.
But I also had no dog waking me up to go on a walk this morning at 6 a.m. too.
So did you get up and go on a walk without the dog?
No, I didn't. Why would I do that, Trevor? I
already told you. You reneged on the walk this morning.
I already told you I can't walk without the dog. That's the whole thing. Now, I did pace a little bit, so.
You're like, I did get on a phone call, and I walked back and forth in my office. So.
That's almost like a walk, Trevor.
Totally counts. Totally the same thing. I'm such a huge pacer. It took me so long to figure out how to have a normal conversation and not pace. Like even when I was a kid, remember back in the day, our younger listeners won't remember corded phones, but I remember the corded phone, and we got like an extra long corded phone, and so then you'd be like talking to, and I remember this in high school. You'd be talking to, usually it was a girl, and I'm talking to a girl, and like I'm like, our phone was in the main room, right, the living room or whatever, like the kitchen area or whatever, and really long cord. So then you would take the cord and you would try to go to another room because I'm talking to a girl, right? I don't want to be in front of my mom, my dad, or whatever. And then I would go into this and close the door in this other room with the cord in it, and then it's this, and then I would just sit and walk back and forth in this little room, and I would twist myself up in the cord. Like, and then I would unravel myself in the corner.
Yeah.
I'd sit right. It gave you some, I mean, for somebody who needs, like, like the fidget toys that they have now for the kids or people, that was my fidget toy for sure. It's that big long cord.
Well,
But I would walk myself into all kind of weird situations with that stupid cord.
Yeah. Well, for years I would only talk to people on speakerphone. Then my team got me a wireless headset, right? Because they said you're driving us all crazy. So then I would just pace with a wireless headset, or I'd stand up. Even on speakerphone, a lot of times I'd stand up. So I'd be standing up talking to people because it just, for me, it carried a different type of energy, right? And usually I can, most of my calls you can call them sales calls or it's talking to client calls, but either way there's this you got to have focus and intensity, and they're important. So, and it just helped me be in a better frame of mind than sitting down.
It's one. I can't. You and I can't really pace around talk when we're doing the show, and with what I'm sitting this particular chair literally all day on a microphone like this, talking to clients and different people, and so I had to learn how to have that same energy. Yeah. Sitting down and being in this kind of setting as opposed to being able to walk. Because, dude, nothing would give me more pleasure than to stand up right now. Like my door right in front of me is wide open. The mountain's right there. And we have trails everywhere. Just grab my phone and just have the same conversation just walking through the mountains, which, I just can't do it anymore. So it's kind of funny. So anyhow, no walk this morning. Well, are you gonna have to get it in then?
Oh, I will. When I get back home, the dog will be right on me. So I fly back this afternoon. She'll be right on me, saying, "Let's go for a walk." And
the dog's feeling neglected. Dog's like, "Where the hell Dad go?"
Oh, she is.
What the heck?
And I was gone this weekend too. So I got back in town on Monday. She's like, "Hey." I didn't get a walk for like 4 days. She did, by the way. We had a house sitter or dog sitter who walked her twice a day. So she certainly got her walks in.
She got her exercise. Just not with you, though. It's not the same. It's right. It's not the same. Does your dog, will she, if you say, is there like a keyword, if you say leash or walk, does she freak out? Like, does she know what it means?
She, so I'm pretty sure she knows what walk means. But she has some trust issues, right? Like she's like a kid who once it gets near that time, she starts pushing the issues. So you never even get to where we're chilling on the couch and I'm like, "Hey, let's go on a walk," and she's bounce up and goes. Right. She's like, "Hey, it's 6 o'clock. Our nighttime walk could happen anytime between 6 and 9 p.m. It could start now."
Like, let's start. Let's go. We going? Yeah.
And then if I get up if I put my shoes on after like 6, she's like ready to go. And so she's pissed if she doesn't get to go. She's like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Yeah. But you broke the agreement.
And in the mornings, I'll shut my door so she can't come down the hall and wake me up, right? If I'm not getting up at like 6, which is my normal wake up time. Because what she started doing was, if I was getting up at 6, she'd try to wake me up at 5:45. Like, "Hey, Dad, is it time? Is it time?" Right? And then she got trained when the alarm went off, because I wouldn't ever do anything before the alarm went off, right? Because I was trying to train her, don't come in here till the alarm goes off.
Right.
And then it was, as soon as she heard the alarm, she'll come down. Did
it work? Did you get her trained? She won't come in till the alarm goes off?
No, she still comes in. She gets anxious. She's like a kid on Christmas, right? And,
every day is Christmas. Yeah, how simple would that be if Christmas was simply going on a walk?
It'd be
like
great.
If you could have that level of excitement just to go on a walk. I'm like,
you probably are a very present individual, and you're probably happy most of the time, would be my guess.
100%. Like, you're in the moment. You are in the moment, and the moment is all that matters until the next moment, and then you're in the moment again. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's make some people better today, dive into some more business savvy. Although the dog talk is great, and
and it does relate a little bit, because there's a not walking this morning. There's a cost associated with that too, though, right? So I did a little bit, but the cost is I'm gonna have to walk more later, because we're heading up to Dragon Con. I'm still trying to not cut weight, but tighten up a little bit and all that. So I got to get a certain amount of steps in. I normally get 11,000 steps in a day. So I'm going to have to get the steps in sometime today anyway.
Yeah.
So by not doing it, there's a cost associated with that. But that rolls right into business too, Like I was telling you, in our last show, we were talking about mentors and getting coached, and, where people reach a point to where they don't listen anymore. I remember early on when I had started my firm, one of my mentors was talking about follow-up programs, right? That a prospect comes in, what do you do for that 2-week time period? What's your follow-up process? And I'm like, shoot, I don't have one. And most of the people I know talk about write your own copy, learn copywriting, learn all these things. And I was sitting there and I was looking at it and like, this guy's pitching 14 days worth of stuff, right? Contact with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not a great copywriter, right? And this is before GPT could assist you. You just have to go on the web and look at kind of stuff. And I'm looking at all this stuff and I'm looking like, I don't know, he listed 2 books on how to write copy, all this stuff, this pile of work to write a decent follow-up thing. Now, 1, I was overcomplicating it. But then 2, I get to the end of his thing, or one of the ads in his newsletter was like, hey, I'll just sell you my follow-up system if you want it.
Right.
And it was like $1,500, I think. And I was like, $1,500 for like 14 letters and emails, that's like $100 a letter or an email. That seems high, right? Now, this is 20 years ago, and I was probably a cheap bastard, but I was looking at it saying, saying that seems pretty high. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should. And then I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to buy his because then I can get it implemented and put into my firm. So I did. I just bought it. And this was, this is not stealing. He was selling a product and said, yeah, just cut and paste, modify what you want to, but put it in your system. So I took it and I put it in our system. And and that was pretty much the foundation of my follow-up system for years, right? For like 10 years. And I bump into him like a decade later, and we're talking, and he's talking about my practice because he'd follow it. You know how you follow a little bit, right? And he's like, yeah, you guys have done really well, You've gotten bigger than a lot of our students do. I think I had like 5 or 6 lawyers at the time. So, a decent-sized firm.
Yeah.
And it's like, how's most of your business going, and how are you getting your leads? And I talked about, we were buying leads from lead gen vendors. And he goes, most people can't make that work. How are you doing it? And I laughed because my answer was, I'm using your system that you taught me a decade ago. I mean, I've tweaked it just a little bit, but it's pretty much the same dang thing that you gave me for $1,500. And he's like, holy cow, dude, that's great. And he wasn't mad about it. He was like, that's awesome. So you're doing what I tell you to do. I'm like, yeah, dude, my whole system is based on what you taught me a decade ago. The follow-ups, the calls, the letters and emails we send is all your stuff. And he's like, well, that's great. I'm happy for you. Nobody ever does it, I guess. And I'm like, I guess not. But there's a cost to everything. And when we're business owners, but even private people, and I think the cost, so often we look at only the monetary cost.
Yep.
Right? It costs a certain amount of money, but there's also the time cost. And there's time and opportunity cost, right? Like for me, the time cost to learn how to write copy, even halfway decent, would have taken a lot more than, the $1,500.
Well, dude, there's people that literally spend 10, 12 hours a day writing copy.
And I didn't know it, but his follow-up system was actually written by a great copywriter I know who's a different person, right? So he had paid that guy to write his thing.
Right.
And all above board, but then he packaged it up and sold it to lawyers,
Yeah.
And it was written by a great copywriter. And I even had it audited by another copywriter like 3-4 years later. I was like, hey, see if you can make this better. And the guy looks at it and goes, this is pretty good stuff, man. He goes, I don't feel good charging you much money at all to tweet this,
Right, because I might change an apostrophe.
Yeah, he's like so he goes, I don't even want to take the gig. So, people spend their whole life learning how to write copy and advertising.
Yeah, which then begs the question, right? And this is the whole crux of it all, because we all balance this, especially when you're smaller and you're growing and you're looking at that growth. It's like, well, I have the investment, right? You've got the $1,500 or the $1,400 investment into that. If you then compounded your time and you started putting value to your time, how long would it take you to become a good enough copywriter to create an equal product to the $1,400 product? And then you start to evaluate, you're like, well, what's my time worth to do that? And if it takes you, and you got to figure the person that wrote that, they do it 10 to 12 hours a day. That's all they do. That's all they do is write copy. And they've been doing it for probably, if it's really good copy, they've been doing it for 10 years plus, right? So, well, okay, so is it worth you spending the next 10 years to become good enough to write that copy? And then you look at the growth you had in that decade,
Yeah.
right? Going from where you're at to you're like, yeah, the $1,400 probably was worth it. But I think that's really hard in the moment, right?
It
When
is,
you're
especially when you
sitting
don't have
there.
a lot of money, right? You're
Yeah.
looking at it like the profit of my firm is 10 grand this month or less, and I'm going to give 10 or 15% to this one guy for one product.
Yeah. That you don't have a guarantee it's going to work.
Right.
Right. There's no crystal balls. Because not every copywriter is created equal. And right, if you don't know about copywriting, they could tell you it's really great. They could give you some good testimonials and referrals. But guess what? They're really good at marketing.
Yep.
Because they write good copy, which means they're using that on you. And so you don't know what the end result's going to ultimately. So yeah, dude, there's a lot of fear that comes into it. But even if it is something that you know you could do, right? Everybody could write an email, but it does take a while to get good at it. We look at some of these other skills, right? You could learn how to be an excellent salesperson, right? You could learn that skill, or you could hire that skill to come in. You could, let's say, sales scripts and processes, right? How to actually structure when an intake lead comes in, what should the flow be? You can spend the time building it and figure out what is exactly do I need to say, or you can, there's companies that will sell you the script.
Right.
They'll sell you the whole entire process. So then that's the evaluation of it's not just the 10 grand that they're charging you for this proven sales process. It's, well, how long is it going to take, and what am I going to actually get out of that? If I do this myself, and where will I be economically different? And I almost look at that too a little bit. It's almost it's like betting on yourself that you're gonna succeed, because it's only an expense if you don't succeed, right? You bought the copy for $1,400. If you don't succeed, then that was an expense, right? It wasn't an investment; it was an expense, and it was kind of just throwing money away. But if you know you're going to succeed, then there's no doubt that $1,400 investment, even if it's not massive, even if you only used it for a year and it wasn't great, but you know that you're going to work hard enough, and you believe in yourself enough as the owner of the firm, that $1,400 investment into that copy is at least the next step that's going to push you to the future that you're going after.
And I think that's key too, right? Is because I could order it, boom, and I could have it inside of a week. The whole thing done in a week, and then I spent a week getting it in place with my firm. So in 2 weeks from start to finish, I had a follow-up system in place in the firm that was sending out letters and emails, and I had a sequence to talk to people. Boom, inside of 2 weeks. Whereas I've seen lawyers, you talk to them about a follow-up system, and they say, I'm going to get one of these, and it's going to be that's my quarterly goal, is to get it all. And then what happens is we see them. They struggle all quarter long, and then at the end of the quarter, they still don't have something they've implemented in their firm. Then they want to make the implementation and getting the system in the firm another quarter thing. So now we're 6 months in before you got anything going on. And I had it done in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Right? Because I bought it.
You and I was saying, you and I have seen that happen constantly in some of the coaching groups we were part of, where somebody will come with an idea of execution, and they're like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to build this thing. I'm going to build this sequence. I'm going to build this whatever. And then they come back 90 days later. They haven't done shit except talk about building the thing. And then they keep flowing through it. And even if they've made progress towards it, your point is I want all of you guys to hear this. Is why I'm basically saying it again. It's that time value of if you can get it implemented now, utilize. This is leverage. Right? It's arbitrage. It's what banks do. It's why banks are so wealthy, right? Because they've figured out a way to leverage money to make more money. We're talking about the same thing. Now we're leveraging time. Leverage someone else's time that they went and had to spend all this time, energy, and effort doing and building the thing, and they had to prove that it worked if they wanted to create a business off of it, because if it didn't work, they wouldn't be able to sell it, because everybody would be like, this is bullshit, it doesn't work. So you're leveraging their time, right? There's a term that you and I talk about a bunch, Shane, right? But it's compressing time. Right? How do you compress time? Well, you have to leverage other people's time. And that doesn't mean time in the moment, but that's literally what you're talking about. Is it's literally leveraging that they built it. Now I can have this implemented now and start to see the results. Does it cost me money up front? For sure. But when you if you are not guaranteed, but if you believe in yourself and you know you're never going to quit and you're going to build something, so then you have the confidence in you, then you can take that same 5-year window and say, well, was the $5 grand, 10 grand, 1,400, whatever it is, am I going to be able to make that much money up? Well, yeah, obviously. I should be 100x that in the next 5 years.
That's how I started looking at things early in the firm, right? It's like I knew what it cost me to get a client, right? Because you advertise, some of the leads are bad, some are good. Of the good ones, how many are you converting into clients, right? I knew what my cost was. And so I was able to evaluate something and saying, holy cow, this is one client or this is two clients. And you know, at $1,500 back then, it was probably somewhere between 2 and 3 clients, right? Because client acquisition costs were less back then.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is 3 clients. So if over the course of 6 months, I get 3 extra clients, it's paid for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty confident it would do that. So then and I don't want to say it's an easy decision, but you're like, this should work. Mm-hmm. You know, right? I know how many clients I've got to get. If it's only a little bit better and I get 1 more extra client a month, I'm good to go. My investments paid off tremendously, but also I looked at it as it allowed me to get something in place now that I could then tweak later versus spending 6 months trying to tweak something and come up with the best version. And you and I have talked about this, Trevor. We've run some stuff that we didn't think it was slop. We put out the copy, we put it out. We thought it was pretty good, and then it got nowhere. You know, right? Or it got just weak results or whatever. So you're continually tweaking it. So getting a base in done by a halfway decent copywriter, I think, is better than, you know, you spending time and energy and having no base and taking 6 months to get something on the books moving.
And I think part of that too is figuring out, dude, what is your superpower? Like, what skill set do you have as the owner? Like, all of you guys that are listening, you have different skill sets. Some of you might be really good talkers and you're great on, you know, maybe the sales side of the process. Some of you may not be great at that, right? And you're really good at, you know, empathy and warmth with the client once they're in the space, and you're able to take a client and really lead them. Some of you are not even, you're just amazing on the back end office side and the structure. You're really, but knowing that is going to also help you, because if there's something, a situation on the front side for, let's say that you're not great at that. Well, it would be stupid to spend all your time and energy and effort trying to become great at that when there are things out there that you can just speed that time up by jumping in and buying into it then. And same with the backside, right? If you don't understand the backside, there's plenty of CRM companies that will come in and they will train your whole team and they will build the whole thing for you, and it'll be implemented almost immediately. Or you can pull up, you know, Clio or whatever it is and spend weeks and weeks and weeks and still not understand it.
And not do a great job. That's the thing too, right? Like, and I used to talk to my clients sometimes when they're like, hey, Shane, why should I hire you? I can negotiate with the insurance company myself. And I was always like, you're right, you can. And I would usually say, well, what kind of work do you do? Right? And then they'd tell me what it was. And I'd say, and if it was something that wasn't really relevant, I'd always go back to a deck. But I'd be like, so listen, you're an AC repair guy. How long have you been doing it? 10 years. Cool. Is it possible that I could go on YouTube, order a book, stumble through the book, maybe get my AC unit out, maybe find out what's wrong, maybe repair that, find out that's not what's wrong, because what the hell do I know? Mm-hmm. I do this just once a year, or I build a deck, you know, right, once every 15 years or whatever. And do you think at the end of the day, it's going to take me longer to do it? And would I do as good a job as you fixing this AC unit, even if I managed to get it done? He'd be like, well, hell no, Shane. Yeah. What do you know about doing AC units? And I said, well, listen, this is what I do all day long, every day. And my baseline's probably going to be better than yours because it's what I do all day long, every day. How often do you negotiate with insurance companies about a personal injury case? Well, you know, never. But I've done some negotiating. Cool. In this area? No. And then it's like, well, do you know what an AC unit's worth? Do you know what the parts cost? Do you know what everything's worth? They're like, yeah. Do I? Well, no. Could I find some stuff out? Well, maybe. Same for your personal injury. You know, but it's that same basis skill level, I guess. You get it in place, you start working on it, and you're probably not ever going to be as good as the expert. Are you going to be good enough? Maybe, but could you just buy it and skip all those steps and get in your system? I mean, you know, lawyers don't need to be accountants. Like, I laugh at small business owners, you know, once they cross a certain amount, like, why are you doing your own taxes, dude? It's not a good use of your time.
You're not an accountant, right? So what are you doing? You're an attorney, and but we all do it. And I think too, I like the term, like, referring to kind of the people in your sphere, not just in your company, but all of your spheres, your team.
Yeah.
right? Who do you have on your team? What experts do you have on your team, right? Who can you call when, like for me, like I've got a team. Part of my team is the guy who takes care of my yard. He's on my team, and he's really good at it. Now, could I go do it? Yes, I'm not dumb, and I could figure it out. But I've seen some of the tools he brings out, and I don't have those tools. So, so I'm like, well, and there's this one little thing he uses. I don't even know what it's doing. I'm sure it's great, but he does a little thing with it, and I'm like, I don't even. So there's some knowledge base that I don't have, but I don't have to worry about that because he's on my team.
Because he's on
my team,
exactly.
And I brought him into the team. Same thing with accounting, doing your numbers, and this includes like some of your personal numbers, right? So this is like personal books too, like having somebody that I'm not an accountant. I don't like numbers like that. I like to make numbers, like I like those kind of numbers, and I like to look at those ones. But the rest of them, I'm like, dude, it's not my skill set. It's not my wheelhouse. Taxes, no, thank you. Like I would poke my eyeballs out, but part of my team, I have an expert that does that for me. So when you're building this, you're building a whole world, but that costs money.
It
now,
does.
I could go become the expert at all those things, which I don't actually think I could. Well, it's funny. I love that you bring up the AC because we were in a previous show. We were talking about how I just has AC issues in the house, and I went to chat real quick and I asked it. I'm all, how would I fix this? And it started breaking down this AC language stuff and all this, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, shut up, chat. I'm on done. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, so I called a guy and said, hey, dude, come out here and let me know what you're going to be able to do or whatever. And it was you could tell he was an expert. He came in, looks at the furnace, looks at what I have, and he's like, oh, this is what we need to do. He's able to do this, and he did it in dumb term for me.
Yeah.
So he didn't use like AC terms. He did it in like layman's terms, and so he gave it, and I was like, okay, great. And then he told me when he could come out and fix it. And I'm like, okay, well that sucks because it's July right now and it's really hot. So temporarily, I'm going to go buy a portable unit. We're going to put it in that sliding glass door, but he's an expert. I don't have to deal with it, right? I'm not going to actually try to fix and solve that problem.
And if you listen to our last episode, you realize Trevor did not do as good a job as the expert did, because it doesn't visually and aesthetically, it's probably not appropriate for his house.
It does not matter. If I lived in a trailer, it would be perfect. Like it would be awesome because duct tape, baling twine, and cardboard, those exist in the trailers. Those should be there. Where I live, that doesn't make sense. But
so
go.
A lot of things you can
episode.
do, but you probably shouldn't do, right? And
100%.
And we used to tell people this are about cutting your own yard all the time, right? Like you can cut it, but if it takes you 2 hours to cut your yard, and you bill $250 an hour, $150 an hour, or we'll even say you're billing $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm. That's
$200. Is that what it costs to, that's what it costs you to mow your yard. Could you work at the firm and make more than $200? Or could you outsource that to a teenage kid for $50 and you make $150 on the spread? There's...
And when that logic never goes away, no matter what it is. And I think that's the evaluation that really helps you determine what is my time worth and what am I willing to invest in to have implemented now for the future payout of actual growth. And here's what I'll tell you. All of you guys who get on the fence on, well, I can just do it myself. Why would I pay for someone to do this? Especially when it comes to inside your firm. If that is your mindset, you're stuck. You have a blockage that's going to stop you. The likelihood, if you don't shift that mindset of you building a $10 million, $20 million, $30 million law firm, is almost zero. It's almost zero. Like, I'm not saying you couldn't be the unicorn that has that type of a mindset that can build, but I've been doing this a long time. And if you don't have the understanding that I must invest today to buy time so I can buy my time to compress time for the future, you flat out won't live long enough with that mindset to become the expert you're trying to become in all these areas that you can just do it yourself, and you just won't. It won't happen, right?
And I would balance it out. Like, even if somehow you manage to do it all, you're not going to be happy because you're going to have no time.
Yeah.
Period. You're gonna save some money, but you're gonna have no time. And
18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you're divorced. You're raging alcoholic, popping pills in the morning to get yourself away. Like you and I both, Shane, have watched that happen. Yeah. And so yeah, you're right. You can do it if death at 40 is your plan.
And you want to burn down your family, right? But
yeah, so that sounds like a great idea. Let's go down that road. That seems like a good choice. Let's choose that. So I don't know. So yeah. So
we're ending on a real happy note, which is everything's got a cost, and the cost is either time or money, energy. And I think the thing we leave our listeners with is, evaluate something like that, because your time is valuable. I'd say as a lawyer, or a busy professional, your time is actually very valuable. And there's an argument made that everyone's time is very valuable. But I mean, there's always there's a cost associated with everything, time or money. And you just have to make an intelligent, informed decision on it, I think.
Nope, just assess it. Don't go into it blind, and you're good. So appreciate you guys being listeners of today's show. Do us a huge favor. We really appreciate it. In order for this show to grow, we rely on you to share it up with somebody else who's also going to get value. So please do that. Share the show to somebody you know that needs to hear this, right? Maybe they're on the fence of some type of an investment or some product they're going to buy that's going to help them grow, but they're like, it's $1,400. I don't know if that's worth it. And give them this might be the show to push them over the edge that actually helps them change the mindset to help them grow. So appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.